local.
International communities observing
When the main market is in chaos, people are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken it through by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Good evening, welcome back. We have our guest who has joined us. Whereas, quote for the day: Constitution is for the people, people are not for the Constitution. Change it for the betterment of the common man. And this quote is from Arvind Kejriwal. The House of Representatives has emphasized the importance of the ongoing Constitution amendment process in strengthening the national unity and promoting peaceful coexistence among Nigerians, diverse ethnic nationalities. This was highlighted during the Constitution Review public hearing for the Southeast Zone, which took place in Enugu State. The public hearing, which comprised Enugu, Ebonyi, and Anambra State, saw a strong advocacy for the creation of an additional state in the Southeast geopolitical zone. This was made to address the perceived imbalance in state creation across the country's geopolitical zones. The outcome of the Constitution review process will determine the future of Nigeria's governance structure and its ability to promote national unity, peace, and development. And to have the conversation on constitutional reform and balancing regional interests, our guest, Honorable Hyacinth Ngwu, who is the ex-parliamentarian and former APC Southeast Publicity Secretary, has joined us via Zoom to give us his own contribution, or rather his thoughts on this particular subject matter. Good evening, Honorable.
Good evening, welcome.
Yeah, good evening, and good evening, viewers.
Thank you for joining us once again. The hearing happened in Enugu State, and of course, on this particular subject matter of the constitutional reform, because of how and there is a move to create an additional state in the Southeast because of how much states we have. We have just 5 states, unlike every other region that have up to 7 and above. What do you think about this particular development?
Well, thank you for having me once more. And yeah, I think it is a very good idea to correct the imbalance that exists not only in Southeast, but it was highly pronounced in the Southeast. But it is an imbalance that exists in some of the zones where you have the states in some zones having 6, another zone has 7. Then the worst is the Southeast that has 5 states in the zone. Then one would ask why. Was it a mistake? If it was a mistake, whether deliberate mistake or a planned mistake, like you said, we are all grown. Constitution is for the people. And people, by nature, are dynamic. Therefore, Constitution should also be dynamic. If it were a mistake in the past, I think it is high time we corrected it. So the recent move to amend the Constitution is a welcome one. And this amendment should be rightly done to affect the imbalances. Here is a nation, Nigeria, divided into 2 zones, the North and the South. And again, you have some states in the North, some zones in the north having more number of states than that of the south. Election, presidential election. Or presidential government station is an act of, if we don't have equal representation, we will have weak voices in the federation. Therefore, we need to create equal states in all the zones. Already we have 7. Therefore, in the Southeast, we shouldn't be fake. We should be asking for 2 additional states to make it 7. And we should also extend our hands to other zones where they have 6 states to ask for 1 more, so that there will be an equality of states in all the geopolitical zones. And that will bring everybody, all the states, all the zones, to equality with one another. So it's a welcome development. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Hyacinth. The question on the lips of many Nigerians now is that is there any need for creation of more states, looking at the financial burden this may have on Nigeria as a country?
Yes, there is. Like I said, we are practicing federalism, and federalism is made up of representations from subnationals. So if the subnationals come to the federation on equal basis, there will be an unequal treatment. Therefore, it is a necessity that all the federating states and regions must come to the federal state with equality. So there is much need for that. When other states were created from 12 to more and more, and now we are 36, many people thought that the states would become unviable. But I tell you, there is no state today in Nigeria that is not viable. So first, create that state, and the ingenuity in the people of that state will come out to make them create wealth for their sustenance and progress.
Thank you so much, Honorable Hyacinth. I also would like to know which key areas do you think Nigeria should focus on right now while they are reviewing the Constitution?
Well, like I said, it's a key. Constitution is dynamic, just like people are. So it's a work in progress. Even America today are still reviewing their constitution. So it will never get perfect, because as things evolve, culture evolve, modernism evolve, there will always be need for amendments in the constitution. For me, and I believe for most Nigerians, this amendment, this present amendment that is ongoing, should also reflect amendment in the electoral process. Democracy is grassroots based, and that grassroots is local government, the wards. There should be a strong electoral reform at the local government level to ensure the grassroots, to ensure people's participation in grassroots election. What we presently have, where a state governor will appoint a state resident electoral commission and conduct election, and the state in power will win in all the elective positions sought. It's undemocratic. It's unheard of. So the reforms, the electoral reforms must start at the local government level. Because when we get it right at the local government level, certainly we will get it right at the state and at the national level. So that is the beginning. The beginning of the electoral reform must start with making sure that we have duly elected representatives at the ward, we call them councillors, at the local government, we call them chairman. So this is the beginning. That is one. There is this another one that is in top debate now: women participation, enhancing women participation in governance. That also should be included in our constitution to make it mandatory for a certain percentage of women, minimum percentage of women participation in governance. And that will also bring me to regional participation in federal government, particularly at the presidential level. There should also be an amendment to include, whether it is a transitional period, let there be a transitional period where all the zones would have the opportunity to present candidates for all the parties for presidential election, so that whoever wins from whatever party or whichever party will be from that geopolitical zone. These are the issues that will truly unite Nigeria and make for progress. And I want to believe that if we include this, even if it let it be a transitional provision, no, we will do this thing for a number of years, then it will cease. Let it be.
Let's look at the time before now, whereby you've had situations where the creation of extra states in the southeast had come up before, and for some reason it's always been swept under the carpet. It never comes to happen. Do you think that with in this particular situation there will be a change? And secondly, why is it that the Nigerian constitutional review process has repeatedly failed to actually have a lasting reform?
Yeah, I should say it is the result of the seemingly marginalization of some zones. In the first place, why was there an imbalance in states, in the number of states in the regions? Was it a mistake? I should believe it wasn't a mistake. It was a deliberate action. So for us to come together to address that imbalance, there must be a holistic agreement. So it must be a holistic agreement between all the stakeholders in the regions to agree that there was a fundamental mistake and that this is the high time that mistake was corrected. Unless that agreement is reached, well, I think we may also fail in this one. So the starting point is let our leaders extend their hands of fellowship to leaders in other zones. Let them understand that a true federalism calls for equal representation, equal voices from all and sundry. As the women are crying out for that they are being marginalized, so too the people with specialties, they should be, and the government at all levels should be all inclusive. So it is all inclusivity that we should be crying out for. Once we get that feeling into all the super stakeholders, then to amend the Constitution to effect those imbalances will be a seamless one. So we don't just sit down, talk, without doing the underground. There is need for the National Assembly, our National Assembly leaders, our state governors, our state and regional leaders to convoke to see how they can meet with other regional leaders, state governors, and make them understand that injustice is the bane of a society. Thank you.
The question now is, how can citizens also participate in this constitutional reform? Because it seems we just have some stakeholders that are not really doing enough research to get to the heart of the masses, to really know what they want to be reformed or not. How can citizens be part of this process and make their voices heard?
Presently, the way the present constitution has proposed for its amendment, it does not include citizenry participation in general. But citizens can participate indirectly through their representatives, the people they voted into power. So there is also need for citizens to have their say in that the Constitution has been proposed for amendment. The amendment should include that in subsequent amendments, there should be a kind of voting for a particular clause to be included in the Constitution. And that voting will include everybody. For instance, if they now say, oh, they have two more states in the Southeast, then the people will be given opportunity to vote for that to be included in the Constitution. That is the only way people may be included in the reviewing of a Constitution that is already made.
Manage the challenges affecting different states. Let's take it back to regional interest. How can this reform really manage that? Because it seems some states, some regions are feeling marginalized. Something that would have been a solution is now looking like it's a challenge to many regions.
It is a challenge. That was why I said there is need for the people of the Southeast, but their leaders, to meet with leaders of the other zones that have lesser states than the zone that has 7. And plead with them that every state, every region should be made to have equal number of states. I don't support reducing a state that already has 7. But I am support to increase the number of states in zones that have 6, 5 to equal 7. So there is a need for these leaders of these zones that we are marginalized in states creation to agree. And I want to tell you that if they agree, if they already agree and want to amend this constitution, following the clauses of the present constitution, particularly on how it could be amended, it will be, they will achieve it. Because if they come together, they would have gathered enough 3/4 of the states that will give support to the amendment of that constitution to include that clause. And then it would have been asked. But if they don't agree, certainly it will be very difficult for the Southeast to get to 2/3 of the states that agree to it, that they need 2 more states to come to level with the zone that has 7. Or to come to level with other zones that currently has 6, but maybe agitating for 1 more, as the case may be. So we really need, as Southeasterners, really need to think in that direction. Let us get ourselves together and move to the people that we feel are being marginalized, like we are feeling. Then if we have that synergy, it's all about votes. We gather enough votes to have our say and way in the electoral, in the constitutional amendment.
All right, Honorable. Looking at, just as we've mentioned, the situation of marginalization of the Southeast and the extra creation of the states, what other things
Thank you.
for the betterment of the Southeast people, what other things do you think the Southeasterners really need and it should be looked into and provided for them as well?
But the Southeasterners, we need to have a shot at the presidency. Just like every other zone, region should also have that taste, that feel of their person in the presidency as the president. So, Southeasterners and any other zone that has not participated at that level should be given an opportunity to participate at that level. And that will truly show inclusivity in government. And that will also prove that we are all one Nigeria.
Okay, Honorable. Looking at where the meeting happened at the International Conference Center in Enugu, it was obviously accessible by or accessed by the people that were aware and people that lived within this geopolitical area. You know, the geographical area of the states. You know, people that stay in the hearts of Enugu. Is this not supposed to even happen at the grassroots, to get grassroots involvement so that they can also talk about the things that really bother them? I mean, you can't say that even people that lived as far as all the rural areas in Enugu State could actually access the venue where this particular event happened. Don't you think that it should maybe possibly happen again, but at a lower level where the people at the grassroots can fully participate and also air their opinion on what they think should be done?
Well, time constraint will not permit that. Time constraint will not permit that. The zones, the states could meet at lower level, at local government or senatorial level, and gather their input, and through their representatives send their input to the final to the Southeast zonal meeting where the constitutional amendment thing were discussed. So because it will be very, very time consuming, and the time is not there. It will also be very, very heavy financial wise for the National Assembly committee that is now working on this constitutional review to start moving into states and be asking for opinions through meetings. It will be very, very difficult. If they go to that line, then this they will not conclude, even give them 4 years. And they have maximum 4 years to do this. So I want to believe that the option they've taken in executing this their assignment is very, very okay. Very, very okay. I support that. But let the state governors, the members at the National Assembly, let them meet their constituencies and gather their opinion. First, the people from the grassroots, they gather their opinion, bring it up to the state senatorial level, gather the opinion, streamline it, then make it a state opinion. They can now take it forward either to zonal, regional level, or find a way to escalate it to the National Committee on Electoral and Constitutional Review.
When we came back from the break, we talked about the quote for this segment, which is Constitution is for the people. People are not for the Constitution. Change it for the betterment of the common man. This was a statement by Avind. And the question I want to ask you now is, in Nigeria, do we really have constitutions that are for the people, or the people are actually living on the Constitution?
The Constitution is for the people. Just like democracy is for the people. Whether the present Constitution we are using was made by the people, the generality of Nigerians, or not, is a question. And if the answer is no, maybe that was why the constitutional review program is in progress now. But even if the Constitution as it is today were made by everybody, being that people are dynamic, being that the Constitution is for the people and people are dynamic, there is also need for the Constitution to be reviewed from time to time, because nothing is static. America today, they are still reviewing their Constitution after over 200 years. of implementing the same constitution. Nigeria will just practice our less than 25 years now, 26 years. So you can see the document is still is being reviewed. So there is no cause for alarm. We cannot say because it was not made originally by the whole people, let us throw it outside. A country without constitution, even for an hour, will head for chaos. So we need to manage what we have, see how to make it better for common man. And that is what is happening now.
Honorable, for some time now, we've heard a couple of women coming out clamoring for their own space, in the day-to-day activities happening in the country. The reform, they also want a percentage of women, to also be noticed in the constitution. They also favor the women and what have you. But this is concerning. Some people have the opinion that it is embarrassing, for women to even come out to say things like this when the constitution, people should know that women they are supposed to have their place, and it's not debatable. It's not what one is supposed to question. Then, what's your reaction to that?
Well, I don't think there's any place in the constitution where we have it that women should have a representation. The constitution made it just clear for everyone that is qualified to contest election, to contest anywhere. But being a developing democracy and economy where most of the things we do is based on survival of the fittest, there is need to carry the weak along. But if you allow the fittest to always come out and use their might to destroy the weak, one day you will not have the weak. And that will make an imbalance again in the society. Nature is made up of the weak and the strong. That is the balancing act. Therefore, to have the weak have voice, to help them have voice in governance, there is need to have a special place for them in the government. So I support that there should be an amendment of the Constitution to include certain percentage of women in government, even if that should be at a transitional period. Just like I stated earlier, even if the presidential rotation should be for each zone for a transitional period, because we are still growing. Let that be in our constitution for now, because it is only when it is in our constitution that it will be respected by the political parties alike. So I support the women in their quest to have special number of representation. The same way I support the geopolitical zones to have equal number of states, to have equal representation at the federal level, because that is what will make their voice strong. Election, voting is all about number. If you don't have that number, then you'll never be heard. Or you can be heard, but you will have your way. And it is important you are heard and you have your way. That makes progress for you and even for the society. So I support the women.
All right. Thank you, Honorable. You've been an parliamentary. You've been in parliament for a while, right? So as a former parliamentary man, what would you say have changed? From your time to now, what would you say have changed? And is it for good or for bad?
Many things have changed. There's a lot of progress. Progress made possible by civilization and modernization. Today, a parliamentarian, a legislator, can sit in his house and watch how it's being done, how lawmaking is being done in faraway climes, and learn from that. Today, through Zoom meetings, parliamentarians can even be in Abuja and connect with their constituents. A lot has changed for better. So all this has made representation better in quality and in quantity. So I say kudos to the present parliamentarians, and I know that people that will come after them will also do better because they will have better facilities and infrastructure to perform. So it has been progress, better than our own time, and still getting better. Thank you.
Apart from the women also clamoring for their space, in the constitution, we also have the disabled. It's not really a common thing to see the disabled here and there in positions, of high ranking. What's your take on that? Do you think this constitution is fair to the disabled?
I said it earlier that I call them special people. They should also have their way and say. Even if it is not in elective positions, in appointments. Because why I said not elective positions is because of the wahala, the trouble in campaigning. To save them that stress, we may shield them from such positions. But there is much need that they should be carried along to feel that they are human beings. They are human beings. They came to this world with special peculiarities, not of their make. Letting them be part of the government, whether elected or appointed, but preferably appointed, will make them feel that, yes, these our brothers are really their brother's keeper. So the same way, I feel marginalized as a Southeasterner, the way the women feel marginalized, so too, the special species are also feeling that they are marginalized. We should find a way to cure this marginalization so that there will be harmony in governance. There will be inclusivity in government. And that will make a better world. Thank you.
conversation, just before we round up this conversation, if all these things are being put in place, constitutional reform, and everybody is being met at a point, where do you think Nigeria will be in the next 5 to 10 years?
Super nation. Super nation. Currently, we are attaining the status of a super nation, playing with all our resources. Think of what we will be when we play with all our resources. So Nigeria is just giving their half, putting their half resources into the equation, and they are making it as strong as they are today. Think of what it will be when we carry our women along, carry our special persons along in our administration and governance, in decision taking. I tell you, the heaven cannot even limit Nigeria, because this is a country that's endowed with resources, human and material resources. So it is my belief that our leaders will come to this realization that we will be better country. We will play it better and bigger amongst nations if we play the policies of inclusivity. Thank you.
All right, Honorable Hyacinth, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the program.
Thank you for joining us.
It is my pleasure you having me in this program, and I want to thank you and thank Nigerians and viewers and say kudos to Signature TV. You're doing well. Thank you.
All right, thank you once again. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll have our next conversation for tonight. Stay with us.
We are local.
The international community is observing every
Just finished the Wait, the main market is in chaos. People are
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV news in your pocket.